I shouldn't feel like I have to make this video, but here we are. So if I'm gonna do this, let's make this as entertaining as possible. So if you aren't constantly keeping up with the Boruto hot takes community like me, because apparently I just don't have a life, then you wouldn't know about the daily horrible takes and trends that spew from people on social media daily. One of the newest takes in the community has to do with Boruto and Sarada. More specifically, regarding the newfound feats shown from Sarada in chapter 10. So apparently, according to some people in the community and specific Boruto content creators, Sarada has the strongest base strength out of everyone in Team 7. And yes, that includes the likes of KAWAKI, even though he wasn't an original member of Team 7. I mean, I don't think I gotta tell y'all that I strongly disagree on this statement. Although Sarada probably has some of the most impressive feats in the story so far in Blue VORTEX, I just can't put her above the likes of Boruto when he's had even more impressive feats while struggling way less. Keep in mind, before we get into the video, I'm not a power scaler, nor do I care to be. This is actually my second power scaling type video, so I won't go too much in depth to the point where I'm stating what Mach speed someone is or whether someone is planetary or not. I'm just going to be going off pure evidence and narratives that was shown to us throughout the duration of Blue VORTEX. So, without further ado, let's hop right into it. In chapter 1, Sarada was shown able to easily take down one of Code's claw grinds with a single strike, and although she didn't unalive it or anything, I want to make sure I make note of this because it just brings light to her unreal strength and taijutsu ability, mostly thanks to her mother. But what concerns me the most is the end of the chapter when Code appeared before Sarada. Even though they never had any type of physical altercation, sometimes you could tell how a character is feeling in a certain situation based on the emotions on their face and what words they are saying. During this confrontation, a lot of people say that Sarada didn't seem flustered at the appearance of Code or even slightly bothered. And although this probably doesn't matter as much to support my claims, I still believe she did feel a little bit uncomfortable in the situation, especially when she was surrounded by the 4 claw grinds that were present at the time. If you pay attention closely to the conversation, it's more or less Sarada just trying to avoid conflict with Code by stating that Boruto is not in the village and he should not be looking here. So I wouldn't say she's too eager about the idea of fighting Code. It's not like she's just spewing out with confidence. So you could probably say here that she's not 100% sure that she can take on Code, and especially by herself. Because if she was sure of it, she would see this confrontation as an opportunity to get rid of a great threat like Code right away. But to be fair, Sarada at this point in time shouldn't have intel on Code's abilities because she hasn't fought him or met him face to face up to this point. If she does have knowledge on his abilities, it was most likely from a secondary or tertiary source. But I don't think this is the case because even though she's seen this ability firsthand, she still managed to get caught off guard by one of the claw grinds again the very next chapter. But I'll still cut her some slack because she was able to adapt to this ability. So when chapter 10 came around and HIDARI tried to do the exact same move on her, she was able to react with her Sharingan and make the appropriate counter moves. I mean, if you think about it, she had her Sharingan active when she did this. So I don't know if you would consider that being in base compared to Boruto, who was able to single-handedly take down the claw grinds that was about to attack Sarada. And directly after that, basically low diff a Code with no limiters who was stated to be stronger than JOUGAN several times throughout the story, being at worst mid OTSUTSUKI level. Unless you think Sarada can replicate what Boruto did in chapter 2 and 3 by unaliving 4 claw grinds back to back and still have enough energy to one-shot Code, then I don't know how we can say she's the strongest base character in Team 7. But to make this video a little bit more interesting, I won't just compare her to Boruto. I'll also put her against other Team 7 members like KAWAKI, who's definitely a more controversial topic right about now. Because it's no doubt Sarada just has way more impressive feats than either Mitsuki or KAWAKI. People often forget about this, but both Sarada and KAWAKI has been caught off guard by claw grinds in chapter 2 and had to be saved by a comrade. Sarada without her Sharingan active has a similar reaction time to KAWAKI. When compared to Boruto's much sharper speed and reaction, it starts to look pretty mediocre. You can definitely make the case for Sarada kind of being distracted by Soegi having a conversation with her, so she'd be getting caught off guard. But the same situation occurred in chapter 10 when she was talking with Konohamaru asking if everyone was okay. Then Hidari teleported to her blind side to attack her, but this time she was able to react in time by activating her Sharingan. It's not that she was distracted, because she could still react even though she quote unquote wasn't paying attention. And while I would argue she actually was paying attention, the difference was her Sharingan and her knowledge of the enemy and their abilities. Even though both KAWAKI and Sarada has been shown to be able to unalive a claw grind with a single attack, when comparing their base reflexes, I'm actually seeing they're really close to each other. I mean, without any comrades to help them out, they both would have been caught off guard and probably bitten by the claw grinds. So being that they're pretty relative in base, meaning no karma for KAWAKI or dojutsu abilities, I actually think it could be a really close battle with Sarada edging out the victory. The problem is, if we're going straight off time skip material, you won't see much fighting from Team 7 being only in base. So when it comes to Mitsuki, who so far we only seen fight in his Sage mode, of course he probably beat Sarada if she was in base. But with her Sharingan, it gets a little more interesting, because she has the necessary AP and speed to definitely injure Mitsuki. If she can react to Hidari's claw marks and Chidori at point blank, then she can handle any other attack that Mitsuki throws at her. But Boruto was able to do this and still blitz Mitsuki while in base, while Sarada would need her Sharingan at the bare minimum to be able to even come close to the same feat. Oh yeah, and this is Boruto still barely even breaking a sweat. You see how it's not even close yet? I mean, even if you look at Boruto's fight with the Shinju, you would see the feats he performed were on par with Sarada's. Hidari used his claw marks to teleport instantaneously to Boruto and attack him. Not once, but twice, the second time being a Chidori. The difference was Boruto cancelled out Hidari's Chidori with his own Rasengan. And this is why I feel like most people get confused, because the situations between those two are very similar. It's just that Sarada was able to land a hit onto Hidari. But seeing this, all I could think is, if Boruto was able to do the same thing, he would actually do way more damage. Just based off the fact that the Rasengan is a much more powerful base attack than the Chidori. But I have to admit, Sarada's feat was slightly better. I can't even lie, I gotta give that to her. Because some of y'all be calling me Sarada haters in the comment section, when that's not the case at all. I am a big Sarada fan, but I just hate when people create unfair narratives. But yeah, back on point, Sarada's feat was slightly better, because at the end of the day, Boruto was more on guard than Sarada at that point. And you could argue Sarada had way less time to react, because not only was Hidari closer to Sarada than Boruto, he attacked her from her blind side, but Sarada was still able to retaliate with her own Chidori. But the only reason I believe Boruto can possibly execute this too is because he performed a feat that even surpasses the ocular ability of the Sharingan. And that was in chapter 9 when he was able to casually dodge Kawaki's high speed rods multiple times. The rods were said to move at such high speeds that Sasuke's Sharingan couldn't even completely follow it. And it's not like I nor you can confidently say that Sarada is just way faster than Sasuke in base, to the point where she can react to these rods with her Sharingan. Something only guys like Baryon Naruto, Damon, Timeskip Boruto, and Part 1 Momoshiki was able to do. The pinnacle of power in the Borutoverse. Hidari was actually able to react to them as well. But him doing this does not mean Sarada can as well. Even if he did get caught by her Chidori, which is just normally a high speed attack no matter who's wielding it. So even though Boruto didn't use any ocular enhancing abilities, he's still shown to be able to execute feats that surpass even the Sharingan. So when it comes to comparing Sarada to guys like Boruto, especially in base, it just doesn't seem to be all that close. Especially when you look at how Boruto was able to beat guys like Code and Mitsuki at their strongest form. Boruto would still probably beat Sarada at her strongest in his base form as of now. Because when it comes to feats, Boruto has accomplished feats that would more or less match what Sarada is able or should be able to do at her strongest. In terms of base strength, I would put Boruto at the top of Team 7 without a doubt, without a single doubt in my mind. Then there's an interchangeable second spot between KAWAKI and Sarada, but honestly, I would say it leans more towards Sarada for that one. And then I'd put Mitsuki fourth. However, at their strongest, it gets a bit more interesting. As of now, I would still put Boruto at the top, of course, but I'm putting KAWAKI in second. When you understand how much of an amp KAWAKI's karma in particular gives him, then there's really no way Sarada beats him with just the feats she's shown so far. And keep in mind, KAWAKI has yet to reveal his full power either. And you know, the karma is just a much better amp than a simple Sharingan, but it could be different when we get to see a glimpse of Sarada's MS ability. But since we haven't seen that yet, I can't say for sure that her MS would definitely give her the edge over KAWAKI at his strongest, being in his Karma V2 state. But we should see it soon, because like I said in my previous chapter 10 prediction video, if she plans on not only fighting Hidari, but beating him, then it'll be nearly impossible to accomplish that without the aid of her MS. So Sarada definitely has the potential to be one of, if not the strongest Uchiha ever. Not only because of her potential ocular abilities being broken, but because of her rather advanced chakra, physical abilities, and stamina. But compared to Boruto and KAWAKI, who has the OTSUTSUKI genes heavily running in their body, it'll be really hard to put her ahead of any one of those two, at least for the near future anyway. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Regarding Team 7's base strength, how would you rank them? Do you agree that Sarada's most recent feats put her at the top? Would you put anyone other than Boruto at the top? And if so, then why? Also, how much potential do you think Sarada has when it comes to keeping up with the likes of Boruto and KAWAKI? Let me know all that in the comment section below. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did and want to see more content like this in the near future of me just going over false narratives and debunking them, then leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you get notified whenever I upload a video, or go live for new chapter spoilers. And without further ado, I'll see you on my next video. I'm out. Peace.